Welcome back to Civil Discourse Now. I'm Mark Small.
I'm Paul Ogden.
Paul, you recently returned from, this is December 1st, 2012. You recently returned from Costa Rica.
Yes, I did. There are some people pronounce it Costa Rica.
No, I think it's Costa Rica is named after noted sports personality Bob Costas.
Oh, I thought it was named after Costco. Maybe Costco came from Costco. Right?
Maybe. I don't know. Did you get good buys down there?
I got some cigars down there.
Oh, did you? I wouldn't know anything about those.
No. They're Costa Rican cigars.
No, Bob Costas would have. Okay, if we were to look at reforming the primary system, and already, I mean, the day or 2 days after the election, Marco Rubio arranged for a trip to New Hampshire.
Yes.
I mean, people in New Hampshire have to have their butts kissed more than anybody, I think, in the United States, other than like. I'm not going to use an analogy on that.
Probably be better not to.
It probably would be. But he was already making plans to go up there and start getting people to like him. And I think that's just rude. 4 years at that. I mean, towards the end, some of the commercials were just getting... I get tired of the slow talking. And it's grainy image. And then it says, like, were you aware that... fill in the blank of the candidate, favors doing whatever horrible to people, and actually doesn't deny it, and then says ad paid for by, and then some super PAC. It's just boredom. It's rude to the American people. Here are some of the proposed alternatives. There'd be a graduated random presidential primary called the American Plan. Variations of which have been referred to as American or Californian Plan. Plan starts with small primaries and gradually moves up to larger ones in 10 steps with states chosen at random. The idea is that fewer initial primaries, typically in smaller states, would allow grassroots campaigns to score early successes and pick up steam. However, since states are chosen at random, travel costs may still be significant.
Yeah, I don't see that as a big improvement over our current system.
Neither do I. Why do you want... well, you could pick up steam in a small state. You either have the ideology and the message and the money sufficient to get into the game. It's like in the movie Maverick with James Garner, Mel Gibson, and Jodie Foster. You had to have $25,000 to get into the poker game. Mm-hmm. Once you got into the big poker game at the end, then, okay, you're in.
Well, I mean, there's some truth to like Clinton. Clinton was an unknown, and he got momentum, and he was able to score the nomination. Of course, back then they didn't think anyone had a chance of winning that election, and that helped him.
Well, and George W. Bush said in 1980 after New Hampshire he had the big mo.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't work out.
Apparently it was wrong.
Yeah. Then there's the Delaware Plan, a commission impaneled by the Republican National Committee. Recommended the Delaware Plan in 2000. It said whoever has the most money to buy the primary. Oh no, I'm sorry. This plan had states grouped by size into 4 groups, with the smallest primaries first, then next smallest, and so on. Populous states objected to the plan because they'd be always the last. Other criticisms, and this comes into everything. They say other criticisms include that with big areas to cover, there are a lot of expenses for the campaigns. I really don't care if it inconveniences candidates to travel long distances to appeal to the American people. This is a big country.
So they're talking about having the small states in one group, then the next small states. Yeah, I don't understand the whole small group. Small states going first. I do more so than you like the regional primary idea.
Well, this is rotating regional primary system. The National Association of Secretaries of State, meaningless offices as far as elections are concerned, has endorsed a rotating regional primary system with the country split into 4 regions: West, Midwest, South, and Northeast. Why don't they do like the NCAA and have like a Mideast
I just wonder. I don't understand the whole Midwest thing. Why are we in the Midwest? But that's a topic for another show. Shouldn't we be in the Mideast?
Well, we are for regionals.
We are? Okay.
Yeah. Unlike the Delaware plan and the American plan, the rotating regional primary system would lower campaigning costs by restricting groups of primaries to single contiguous regions.
I like that idea better.
Criticisms of the regional plan include the higher entry costs than the other plans, because you got
How?
1/4 of the country going at once. And the political bias of certain regions, the South, not the Northeast, obviously. Unduly influencing the selection of a nominee, because you've got ideology of one region if the candidate has the jump, and I can understand that.
Sure.
Interregional primary.
But I think that would be kind of understood going in that Romney probably is not going to win the Southern primaries, but he's going to win the Northeast primaries. I mean, he lost a lot of primaries in the South. He lost a lot of primaries, period.
Yeah, he lost out. He's only won one general election, right?
Right, but he is a Republican in Massachusetts. You got to cut him some slack.
Okay, fine, but like if you had a pitcher for the Reds, and you've had these before, who was like 1-10, you wouldn't pick him necessarily for your opening day starter. Although in the past, I believe you might have.
True. No, you wouldn't. But then again, he's in a state that is heavily Democrat. It's
just
really hard for a Republican to win statewide there.
just for the audience
Hard for
to
a
know,
Republican to win in a congressional seat. All the congressmen from Massachusetts were Democrats. They may still be.
Paul doesn't realize the best Cubs pitcher one year had a losing record, and he didn't say anything about it. So
I'm sorry. I don't follow the Cubs. I don't follow minor leagues.
we pitch, and our pitcher hits. Okay, the interregional primary and the interregional primary plan, the country is divided into geographical regions on each primary date from March to June. One state from each of 6 region votes, and everything's like rotated so that you'd have like each election date would contain a wide variety of perspectives. The order of the states in each region is set by a lottery. In a 24-year cycle, every state would have a chance to be among the first primary states.
That's interesting. I like the regional thing better.
Yeah, a national primary all at once, that'd be chaos.
Yeah.
And that would just benefit somebody with a whole chunk of change.
Right.
So you probably favor that because of your Republican leanings.
I don't think so.
Okay. I think of anything, the more you put like randomness into it and rotating so that you don't have just one state or set of states set in stone as the granite state is. No pun intended. I think the more you vary from that, the better off it is for the people.
I think so, but I think you have a much harder time getting it passed. People like certainty. They want to know the primary is going to be on a certain date.
Well, and these individual states have vested interests financially in being amongst the first.
Right.
I mean, all those donuts and coffee and pizzas that are ordered by campaign workers.
I mean, you have to have people willing to stand up to Iowa and New Hampshire. And, it's hard to, as a presidential candidate, advocate for this and then go into Iowa or New Hampshire and deal with those people.
No, you just do what the kid did in Jaws. He made me.
He made
I didn't want to do it. He made me. But, okay, yeah, so you go in there and you say, sorry, you guys aren't going to be able to pick President of the United States.
Yeah, you would not be welcome there.
Yeah, and what I thought was odd about this campaign cycle, too, was I didn't catch a whole lot of campaigning going on in New York and California.
No.
I mean, there was like...
Are you talking about the general election?
I guess I'm going to the general election. I'm sorry.
New York and California's primaries are pretty late.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, and that makes them kind of moot, even though they're the 2 most populous states.
Right, or mute.
No, that would mean they couldn't say anything.
That's true.
I just don't think that it's the system that we have for primaries does anything to effectuate a better turnout and better expression of what people want as candidates. Look at what we've ended up with usually every year.
True. I mean, I think the Republicans would have had better candidates if they had a shortened system. You had a lot of candidates who said, I don't want to go through campaigning for 2.5 years.
Yeah, and so we need somebody unemployed with a lot of money.
Right. Which is Mitt Romney.
So we've started the next 4-year cycle. Marco Rubio has kind of dipped his toe into the water.
Which is ironic since he's from Florida.
That's true.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying Chris Christie also. That's on the Republican side.
Yeah, and I would think that Ryan might be an idea.
Okay.
But I think Rubio is probably more likely.
Ryan lost his hometown by 10 points and his home state by 25.
Well, do you know how? First of all, Wisconsin,
vice versa,
Wisconsin's a heavily Democratic state. His city he's from might be heavily Democratic. I mean, you can't change the numbers that much.
Wisconsin has a Republican governor.
True, but Wisconsin doesn't normally go Republican.
Well, now that they've redrawn the lines there and
Plus,
stuff.
people don't vote according to the vice president anyway. They vote on the president.
Okay, then in terms of the Democratic
I think
Party.
Ryan did very well on the campaign trail.
Yeah, when they sent him on a campaign trail in Alabama and South Carolina.
That is so not true. They sent him to Ohio. He was in the middle of a bus tour of Ohio. He was right in the middle. You're just making that up. You're watching your MSNBC too much.
Yeah, but you are too, because there's an official record
No,
of what you
there's no
watch on
record.
television.
There's no record.
In terms of the Democratic Party, obviously Barack Obama cannot run for re-election or ever run for president again.
Yeah. I think that it should be challenged.
On the 22nd Amendment?
Yeah, I think it should be challenged as unconstitutional.
It is part of the Constitution,
I know.
Paul.
I know, I'm kidding.
Um,
So it is, I think Hillary Clinton, though she is older now, might have a different shot. I think your Biden. I'm never been a big fan
wait!
of Biden.
You just said Hillary Clinton, although she's older now, and Biden, who
But
just
they're
turned
both
70.
They're both older. I mean, it used to be someone that age would be just totally written off, but people are living longer now. I mean, Romney. Look how old Romney was. Of course, he didn't look.
He's 67.
Yeah, he was up there in years.
Well, but cyborgs can look
Well,
a lot younger than they
True.
actually are. That's, okay, so we got Hillary Clinton,
Hillary Clinton. We have
Joe Biden,
Outside of that, I don't
Elizabeth
know.
Warren. I mean, look.
She just got elected. I mean,
there was a United States senator who had just been elected in 2004. Who, I mean, he wasn't even a U.S. senator when he spoke to the Democratic National Convention. He was elected in 2006 and then ran for the United States presidency in 2008.
Right. That seems to be what happens from Illinois sometimes.
Either that or you're governor and you go to prison.
Or yeah, exactly. So Lincoln didn't have a lot of experience when he got elected president. I don't see that pattern being repeated.
Well, and that's
Plus, he's from Massachusetts, so far left state.
But it's on the right side of the country.
True.
Here's one thing. You're talking about people not having experience for the office of the presidency of the United States. How do you get experience as president of the United States?
That's true. Especially like foreign policy. They gave Romney a hard time because he didn't know certain things. It's like, how do you get that experience except serving? So
we're at the end of the show today. It's December 1st, 2012. Paul and I have been discussing with our audience here today, discussing primaries, presidential primaries. Next week, we are going to probably discuss the power of states to nullify federal legislation. I will be blogging about this week and announce that on the website. Until then, have a happy week and a good one, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
thank you.